There is a cruel paradox to aging. The older we get, the more our bodies desperately require intense physical exertion to survive. Yet, simultaneously, our joints, our cartilage, and our connective tissues begin to aggressively punish us for that exact same exertion. Society tells the senior man that if he cannot run, and if he cannot lift heavy iron, he must surrender to the recliner. He must accept the slow, suffocating decay of his cardiovascular system and his musculature. They are wrong. There is a loophole in the biology of aging, a mechanical hack that allows you to push your heart, your lungs, and your muscles to their absolute limits, while completely bypassing the destructive, bone-on-bone impact that ruins older men. That hack is the bicycle. Today, we are going to perform a physiological and psychological autopsy on the daily cyclist. We will deconstruct the astonishing biological cascade that occurs inside the body of an older man when he rides a bicycle every single day. From the reversal of metabolic decay to the optimization of the central nervous system, this is not just a ride. It is a biological rebellion. Welcome to the Masterclass. Section 1. Muscular Fortification. Let us begin with the architecture of movement. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass, primarily targets the lower body. When a senior man loses the strength in his legs, he loses his independence. He cannot stand from a chair unassisted. Cycling is a targeted, high-repetition assault on the largest muscle groups in the human body. Every single pedal stroke demands explosive power from the quadriceps to push the pedal down, and intense engagement from the hamstrings and glutes to pull the pedal up and through the rotation. But here is the miracle for the aging man. Cycling is a closed kinetic chain, non-weight-bearing exercise. When you run, your knees and ankles absorb up to 3 times your body weight with every single foot strike. When you cycle, the machine bears your weight. The movement is fluid, circular, and continuous. You are subjecting the muscle fibers to massive amounts of metabolic stress and time under tension, the exact requirements for muscle growth, without inflicting any sheer mechanical trauma on your fragile cartilage. Furthermore, we must address the core. Cycling is not merely a leg exercise. To maintain balance, transfer power to the pedals, and keep the torso stable, the central nervous system must intensely engage the abdominal wall and the deep stabilizing muscles of the lower back. You are building an iron corset around your spine, protecting it from the micro-movements that cause chronic lower back pain in older men. Section 2. The Metabolic Furnace. As testosterone levels decline after 60, the male metabolism slows to a crawl. The body becomes ruthlessly efficient at storing energy as visceral fat, the dangerous inflammatory fat that wraps around your organs, suffocating your heart and liver, and driving insulin resistance. You cannot out-diet a completely sedentary metabolism. You must stoke the furnace. Cycling is one of the most efficient caloric incinerators available to the senior man, precisely because it can be sustained for long periods without joint fatigue. A man riding at a moderate, consistent pace for exactly 1 hour a day will burn approximately 500 calories. Over the course of a month, this daily habit creates a caloric deficit equivalent to shedding nearly 1.6 kilograms, or roughly 3.5 pounds, of pure adipose tissue, assuming diet remains constant. But the true magic is not just the calories burned during the ride. Because cycling demands so much energy from the massive muscles of the lower body, it drastically improves insulin sensitivity. The muscles become hungry. They open their cellular doors and pull sugar directly out of the bloodstream to use as fuel. By riding daily, you are actively dismantling the biological environment that allows type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome to exist. You are transforming your body from a fat-storing machine into a fat-burning weapon. Section 3. the cardiovascular and respiratory overhaul. The leading cause of mortality in senior men is cardiovascular failure. The heart is a muscle. If it is not challenged, it atrophies. Daily cycling acts as a relentless, unforgiving mechanic for your circulatory system. When you ride, the sustained elevated heart rate forces the endothelial cells lining your arteries to produce nitric oxide. This powerful molecule dilates the blood vessels, increasing flexibility and lowering systemic blood pressure. It acts like a high-pressure hose, clearing out the stagnation that leads to arterial plaque buildup, the primary trigger for strokes and heart attacks. Simultaneously, we must examine the respiratory system. As men age, their breathing becomes shallow. They only utilize the top third of their lung capacity. The lower lobes become stagnant, harboring toxins and reducing the body's overall oxygen saturation. Cycling forces a biological override. As you push the pedals, the oxygen demand skyrockets. Your diaphragm is forced to contract deeply, expanding the lungs to their absolute maximum capacity. This heavy, rhythmic breathing facilitates the rapid expulsion of carbon dioxide, toxins, and environmental pollutants. The increased blood flow delivers this massive payload of fresh oxygen to every cell in your body. You are not just exercising, you are executing a daily cellular flush. Section 4. Neurological architecture and the prevention of the fall. I have stated before that the greatest enemy of the older man is gravity. The fall strips millions of seniors of their independence overnight. How do you prevent the fall? You do not just need muscle, you need a razor-sharp nervous system. You need proprioception, the brain's ability to instantly sense where the body is in space and react to instability. Riding a bicycle is an incredibly complex neurological task. You are balancing a machine on two narrow points of contact while moving forward through a chaotic environment. Your brain must constantly process visual data from the road, spatial data from the inner ear, and tactile data from your grip on the handlebars and your feet on the pedals. It must constantly execute micro-corrections in the core and upper body to keep the machine upright. This is the ultimate training for your central nervous system. By forcing your brain to manage this complex balancing act for 30 or 60 minutes every single day, you are hypersensitizing your balance reflexes. When the daily cyclist slips on an icy sidewalk, his rewired, hyper-alert nervous system fires the correction signal before his conscious mind even registers the danger. He does not fall, he stabilizes. Section 5. The psychological reset and cellular youth. We cannot ignore the psychological crisis of aging. Isolation, anxiety, and a feeling of obsolescence plague senior men. Cycling is the most potent, natural pharmacological intervention available. Even a short 10-minute ride triggers the pituitary gland to release a massive flood of endorphins and endocannabinoids. These are the body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. They forcibly overwrite anxiety and depression. The rhythmic, repetitive motion of pedaling induces a trance-like state, a moving meditation that clears the mental fog and burns off the residual cortisol of daily life. And finally, the ultimate visual receipt of this internal health: the skin. Society spends billions on anti-aging creams. They are treating the symptom, not the cause. Skin loses its elasticity, and wrinkles form largely due to poor circulation and a lack of nutrient delivery to the dermal layers. The massive cardiovascular output of daily cycling turns the body into a high-pressure delivery system. Oxygen, vitamins, and nutrients are forced into the tiny capillaries of the skin. This accelerated blood flow actively stimulates the production of collagen, maintaining skin elasticity and flushing out cellular waste. The cyclist does not look his age because his cells are constantly being nourished and cleansed. Gentlemen, the narrative of decline is a choice, You can choose the soft chair. You can accept the frailty. You can use your aging joints as an excuse to surrender. Or you can choose the machine. The bicycle is not a toy. It is a biomechanical weapon against time. It allows you to build an iron heart, legs of steel, and an unbreakable mind, all while respecting the miles your body has already traveled. If you refuse to surrender to gravity, if you are ready to reclaim your physical sovereignty, hit the like button to signal the algorithm that men demand higher standards for their longevity. Subscribe to the channel and join a brotherhood of men who refuse to go quietly. Leave a comment below. Will you ride today? Stop fading. Start pedaling. Dismissed.